The attorney for George Floyd's family is announcing a new course of action. We want to go right there live to Ben Crump, who is speaking out on behalf of the family of George Floyd. This is just underway in Minneapolis. Let's listen in.
Nicolette Ward, attorney Devin Jacobs, attorney N. Fallon, attorney Deborah Thomas, and attorney Jasmine Rand. Those great attorneys and myself are proud to come and continue the discussion that started in America in the aftermath of the killing of George Floyd outside of Crump food store here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today, we have filed a federal wrongful death civil rights lawsuit on behalf of George Floyd's family and all of his children. We are going to have an important conversation that continues based on this lawsuit that documents what we have said all along, and that is it was not just the knee of Officer Derek Chauvin on George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, but it was the knee of the entire Minneapolis Police Department on the neck of George Floyd that killed him. The City of Minneapolis has a history of policies and procedures and deliberate indifference when it comes to the treatment of arrestees, especially black men, that cries out for training and discipline. Now, this is an unprecedented case, and with this lawsuit, we seek to set a precedence to make it financially prohibited that the police won't wrongfully kill marginalized people, especially black people, in the future. This is a crisis in black America, a public health crisis. While all of America is dealing with the public health crisis of the coronavirus pandemic, black America has to deal with another public health pandemic of police brutality. This is the tipping point. This is the tipping point for policing in America. This is a public health crisis. Recently, there was a study by the American Journal of Public Health that found black men were killed by the police 3.5 times more than white men. Now, I know it has been said that the police kill more white people, but we have to put this in context. We have to put this in context. Black people in America make up 13% of the population, while white people in America make up 73% of the population. We have to keep these statistics in context. It's important that we look at how black people are profiled by the police. We look at the statistics as it relates when the police kill citizens. Are they armed? Are they unarmed? Because if you're gonna tell the story correctly and put it in context. Because right now is the time to finally deal with this pandemic once and for all of police brutality and racism and discrimination in our criminal justice system. This is the time. This is a teachable moment for America. This is an opportunity for police officers to bridge that divide of mistrust with communities of color, where we have transparency plus accountability equals trust. This is the time for all the world that is watching to have this lawsuit address the crux of the matter. The crux of the matter is this: does America believe the words of Thomas Jefferson? Do they believe the preamble to the Declaration of Independence? Does America really believe it when they quote Does America really believe Thomas Jefferson's words? Do they believe the preamble to the Declaration of Independence when they say, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equally, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that amongst them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Do America really believe it, or does it just sound good? We know you can quote it, but America, do you believe it? That is what we document and discuss in this federal wrongful death civil rights lawsuit on behalf of George Floyd and all of his children. It's an important discussion that we must have in America. Finally, we must deal with this issue. George Floyd, tragic death, horrific death, his torture has finally given us the opportunity to address this issue head on, not only in Minneapolis, but all the way to Washington, D.C. and all around the world. You will hear from Attorney Tony Romanucci, and then you will hear from Attorney Chris Stewart, and then at that time, we will take some of your questions. Thank you so much for covering this important matter, not only on behalf of the family of George Floyd, but on behalf of so many unknown hashtags that we have long forgotten in America. This is our time. Mr. Romanucci?
Okay, you just heard the family attorney on behalf of George Floyd, Ben Crump, speaking about this civil rights lawsuit issued against the city of Minneapolis. He talked about a lot of things, including a tipping point for police in America. That's what this civil rights lawsuit represents. He said this is a teachable moment for people all across America. And he said this is kind of on behalf of the city of Minneapolis, but also a message to the entire police department in the city of Minneapolis, saying that the city of Minneapolis and its police specifically have a history of targeting black men. We will have much more on this story. Susan Elizabeth Littlefield is there covering it for us. She will bring you an update at 5 o'clock. And of course, stay right here on WCCO and on CBSN Minnesota.